Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. As a special gesture, Saudi fighter jets escorts PM Modi's Air India One as it enters nation's airspace. PM's two-day visit to Arab Kingdom to further strengthen ties between both countries. Saudi Arabia, one of India's most valued partners, a trusted friend and strategic ally, says Prime Minister Modi. Russian President Vladimir Putin says open to direct peace talks with Ukraine. Zelensky maintains Ukraine stands by truce offer on civilian targets. Ukrainian delegation to visit London for peace talks this week. And several world leaders to attend Pope Francis's funeral. Pontiff to be buried on Basilica in Rome on Saturday as per his final will. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked for Saudi Arabia on Tuesday for a two-day visit at the invitation of Kingdom's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. In a special gesture, Saudi
World Cup 2034. He was grateful to the Saudi leadership for the continued assistance provided to Indian nationals who visit Saudi Arabia each year for Umrah and Hajj pilgrimage.
Marking a significant milestone as the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Saudi Arabia's key commercial centre in over 4 decades. This visit is geared towards enhancing the strategic partnership between India and Saudi Arabia. DD India's Amritpal Singh reports from Jeddah.
Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia Mohammed bin Salman shall be receiving Prime Minister Modi when he arrives in Jeddah today. The Prime Minister shall be here for the next 2 days. The Crown Prince and the Prime Minister shall be co-chairing the second meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council, where trade and investment, energy security, defense cooperation and regional security issues will be high on the agenda of the talks.
Host of issues will be discussed on the economic partnership, on the defense partnership, on the political relationship. So we are expecting a very fruitful visit, very good discussions and very important outcomes.
On Wednesday, the Prime Minister shall be interacting with Indian workers at a factory here in Jeddah. There are about 2.7 billion Indian diaspora living and working in Saudi Arabia. Given that Saudi Arabia is a leading voice in the Islamic region, the situation in West Asia is likely to figure in the talks. Also, Saudi Arabia is playing an important role in the mediation between Russia and Ukraine. The two sides could exchange notes on that. Also, the fact that Saudi Arabia is an important partner of India in meeting its energy security needs, this would be high on the agenda. And out of the several MOUs that are expected to be signed, an important or a significant MOU in the energy sector could be signed between the two sides during this visit. With cameraman Saurav Bakshi, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
All right, and DD India's Amritpal Singh joins us live from Jeddah. Hi, Amritpal. I can see some dancers behind you. First of all, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving there really soon. You know, it's a highly significant visit, without any doubt. First of all, tell us how excited are people there, especially the Indian community?
I'll get out of the frame, Siddharth, and show you. These are people of the Indian community who live and work here. As I said in my report, there's a 2.7 million strong Indian diaspora which lives here. So these people are, practicing Garba to welcome Prime Minister Modi once he arrives here.
Can you talk to them, Amritpal? Amrit, can you talk to them?
I'll try and this thing. I'll ask you, I'll try and ask this gentleman, how excited are you about, welcoming Prime Minister Modi when he arrives here in Jeddah today?
We are very excited to receive Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We are extremely excited.
All right. So, this is the first time you would be meeting Prime Minister?
No, this is my second time. I met him when he came in 2019 in Riyadh. So I was lucky enough to meet him, and it was a good experience.
Okay, we got it. They are very excited.
And that the Indian diaspora gets very excited about coming and greeting the Prime Minister or even seeing him.
It's actually we are very happy, and we are lucky, to be here, and what charisma Prime Minister Modi is having, and what aura he is having, and it's always good to see him.
Okay, right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. So, Siddharth, that's the sentiment that you see. There is a charisma, people say, that he carries. There is an aura that he carries.
Indeed.
But I've traveled pretty, many countries where the Prime Minister visits and interacted with the diaspora there. It's essentially when the chief political executive of the country comes to a foreign land and interacts with people who are out of their country.
Yeah.
They get a sense of belongingness, a kind of connect.
You're right.
That the Prime Minister of the country, of their nationality, comes, they get to see him up close, probably
And the sentiment is same everywhere he goes.
His hand. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they feel a sense of recognition because they're working in faraway lands. They're living in faraway lands, and that's the sentiment across the diaspora. And also the other thing that they often tell us is that in the past, the kind of recognition, the kind of engagement that the top political leadership had with the political leadership of the countries they visited, but not with the common man, not with the person working, say, going to offices, leading a regular life. And that's what connects them, and that's what gets them excited about greeting the Prime Minister.
Indeed. Amritpal, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving there really soon, like I just said. Tell us about the engagements of PM Modi there.
All right, the Prime Minister arrives shortly. He lands at the King Abdulaziz Airport here in Jeddah, which is a port city. This is the first time any Prime Minister of the country in 40 years is coming. The Prime Minister Modi came in 2016, 2019, but he came to Riyadh. So he's coming to Jeddah, which is essentially the commercial hub of Saudi Arabia. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will receive him. The Crown Prince is also the Prime Minister of the country. So in that sense, he's his counterpart, Prime Minister Modi's counterpart. He shall be receiving the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister shall be accorded a ceremonial welcome at the palace here in Jeddah. So actually, the Prime Minister then comes to the hotel where he's received by the Indian diaspora. There'll be some small cultural performances, as you saw people practicing here. Then the main engagement of today is that he goes to the palace and holds a small bilateral with the Crown Prince, and after that he goes in. The two leaders co-chair the second meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council, which will be the mainstay of his day one of this visit. The entire gamut of relationship, from defense cooperation to energy security to increasing trade and investment, to connectivity issues, to people contact. So all the entire gamut of relationship will come in for discussion today.
Indeed. Amrit, you just touched upon defense and energy cooperation. From defense ties to energy cooperation, Amrit, both countries have strengthened the bond over the years. What is expected this time in these areas?
Okay, energy, Saudi Arabia is a key partner. They are strategic partners of India when it comes to the relationship. Energy is a very important component of it. If you look at it, you meet about 14% of your crude oil needs from Saudi Arabia. You meet about 18% of your LPG needs from Saudi Arabia. They are your third largest importer in terms of energy, your energy requirements. as your growth engines guzzle, as you grow at the speed that you want to grow at and are growing at, you need more energy sources, and therefore there is where Saudi Arabia's role becomes critical in this partnership. From the Saudi point of view, they want to collaborate with. They want to expand, diversify their basket. You spoke about defense cooperation. Yes. Apart from the regular military exercises between the two navies, the two armies, they are becoming important partners. You've signed a $225 billion contract for supplying munitions to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia essentially imports most of its defense procurement, defense needs. They do not produce much here in terms of defense equipment, and where India wants to make in India, make for the world, especially in the defense sector, as under this government they're trying to open defense production, open it to private players. The Saudi-India relationship becomes important, and there are great opportunities not just for Indian PSUs but also Indian private sector in the defense sector. Siddharth.
Definitely. Amrit, in what all areas, are the two countries likely to take the cooperation forward? Something new apart from what we have discussed?
Energy is going to be a mainstay of the talks today. We could expect an important announcement on that or an agreement on that. There are several MOUs that are expected to be signed after the talks. What I hear is, or what my sources tell me is that an energy pact, a significant energy pact could be on the anvil. Apart from that, as I said, connectivity issues, cultural cooperation between the two sides,
people-to-people ties, of course,
military exercises, all that would be on the agenda. So that's
definitely
trade and investment.
Yeah.
Saudis are interested in investing in India. So we could see several MOUs and agreements being signed after the talks today. So
Amrit, before we let you go, there are some people behind you. They actually want to say something. Can you just ask them how excited are they again?
Oh, really? All right, I'll get it. Ma'am, how excited are you? Can you come a little this side? How excited are you today to greet Prime Minister Modi when he arrives shortly at the hotel that we are in?
There is no words for it actually, because from the moment we have heard that he's coming over here, we're all so much of excitement. It's all going on. And I was the first one to come over here. By 9:15 I was here. So we are not able to control. You can already see, we are all dancing, we're enjoying over here. But because this is the first time I think, I have, after a lot of us, have come together. And this is a great opportunity for us to welcome him, because he's definitely a Prime Minister, so yeah.
Why are you, could I request you to come here? Why are you here? Of course you're here to see Prime Minister Modi, but what draws you? Do you live in Jeddah?
No, I live in Dammam, so we...
Oh, you live in Dammam. How far is it, and why have you driven all the way here?
So it's a 3,000 kilometer away. I'm Anil Malpani. I'm representing a group called GISA, Global India, Saudi Arabia, and we are pushing for having a consulate to be built in Dammam. Okay. So we just putting a petition, and also definitely Modi ji has done a tremendous job especially for NRIs, so just welcome him and appreciate him for all the hard efforts he's doing, and thanking him as a team.
All right.
Thank you for speaking to us.
All right.
So Siddharth, as I was saying earlier, essentially the sentiment is of connect. They live in faraway lands. When the Prime Minister of the country of their nationality visits, they get to see him up close. It's just for that feeling that they drive 3,000 kilometers and more to see him, to feel that connect and experience it personally.
Definitely, Amrit. Thank you so much. We leave it there, but we have seen some wonderful reports by you. We'll keep taking updates from you. Thank you so much as of now. And also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving in Saudi Arabia in a short while from now, as our correspondent Amritpal Singh was telling us, to discuss more in the areas of cooperation, from defense to energy. We've been joined by a guest, Zakir Hussain. He is foreign policy expert. Mr. Zakir, a very warm welcome to the broadcast, first of all. Third visit by Prime Minister Modi after 2016 and 19. Undoubtedly, the ties have grown stronger, between both the nations. How do you see this visit by Prime Minister?
I see this visit taking it at a different, at a higher level of cooperation between the two countries, from energy, economics to defense and security ties, because the region is very volatile and the role of India is very important to secure at least its own partnership with Saudi Arabia, because our economic trade is growing, our energy cooperation is growing, while the security situation in Indian Ocean is not so. Saudi Arabia wants India to cooperate with it to ensure the sea line of communication, and in that this visit is going to contribute a lot. I feel also that we have recently conducted two maritime exercises.
Yes.
In that we have shown our commitment to ensure the security of sea line of communication, particularly at 2 points, number Hormuz as well as Bab al-Mandab, through which our oil and trade take place. And second, that during this period when Trump has imposed tariff, what is going to impact between the two countries, this issue will also be featured in this recent council meeting. And third, that Trump is also coming to next week, Trump is also coming to Saudi Arabia, and what India can do in cooperating the security situation in India, because Saudi Arabia is playing a key role in mediating between Ukraine and Russia and China and US and Iran as well. So we are also partner with Iran, we are also partner with Saudi Arabia, we are also our growing relation with United States and Iran and Israel. So our position is becoming very pivotal in this region, and the IMEC is going to play a epoch-making era in this region, which is going to establish a generational relation, which our Prime Minister has also said. Because IMEC is going to connect India with Middle East to European countries, and through which a new corridor of
I
trade.
understand.
Yeah.
Mr. Zakir, we'll talk
Yeah.
about IMEC a bit later,
Yeah.
but first, when we talk about the defense ties between both the nations, they certainly have flourished. There is no doubt about that. And this time around as well, both nations are expected to boost it. For example, cooperation in defense production, cyber security, and counter-terrorism training. What's your take on that?
This is very important area, vital for both the countries, because as we grow in our economic ties, strength to strength security is very essential. And we find that West Asian crisis should not spill over in South Asia or South Asian in West Asia, and India and Saudi Arabia are two key partners in GCC and SAARC. So this responsibility between the on the two nations is very important. We find that nowadays terrorism is taking place in a different form, like destabilizing the nation and others, and India is also inching towards containing the civilization terrorism. Right now we found that the extradition of Tahir Rana is very important in this direction. It may discourage the elements in our neighborhood which are trying to generate problem, while Saudi Arabia and other GCC countries are telling that there must be no security threat which can hurdle which can check their growing economic ties, investment ties, people to people relation. So the world is moving towards a new era where the partnership of India and Saudi Arabia is very important. Number second, digitization of trade is also taking place. So cyber security becomes very important for us. In cyber security, the role of India is very important, because India has achieved a degree of excellence in cyber security, and Saudi Arabia is also interested in having close cooperation in this. I feel that during this meeting, when Prime Minister and Ambassador Mohammed bin Salman meets, all the governments of relation will be revised, and new priorities, new objectives will be set. In that, Saudi Arabia will ensure our energy security and assure counter-terrorism, as well as India will ensure its food security, manufactured items, trade, investment, because our investment in Saudi Arabia is around $3 billion and Saudi Arabia's investment in around $11 billion. But both the countries are below their potential, because they are trillion plus economies heading towards, and they have offering a lot of opportunities. For example, Vision 2030 is ready to absorb more than trillion investment, while India is also working on a Viksit Bharat. It is also offering a lot of investment in a number of areas, plethora of areas. I have written on this book and I have cited where both the countries work together and enhance and establish a new kind of partnership in the region and also Saudi Arabia does not want to put all the eggs in one or two countries. It wants to engage many countries, and India is a favorite choice because of historical relation. Our relation goes to 5 millennium BC, 5 millennium old, and that 5 millennium old relation should be converted into GDP as well as good bonhomie between the two countries. And this is visible by the presence of 2.7 million Indians there. They are working, as Prime Minister said, as a living bridge and ambassador of between two countries. So I am very optimistic that this visit is going to take our relation at a higher level, where we can become a natural partner and understand each other's problem as well as work together to stabilize both the region. This is very important because a big country like India is living in the neighborhood. If remain ignorant, it is not good for us. And in 2005, we started our Look West policy, engaging the GCC countries, in which we said that they are our maritime neighborhood, and India is ready to share the fruits of our development. And they have realized the strength of growing India in every field: economic, defense, security, technology, innovation, startup. They are so health. There are so much to give and take between the two countries. So I am very optimistic that this, and also this activism has been brought by Prime Minister Modi. Before that, our relation was going, but this kind of enthusiasm was not were absent between the, not even in Saudi Arabia with UAE, which is our second largest partner, trading partner. He visited after 34 years, and after in Kuwait 43 years. Later, any Prime Minister visited. This is the third, sixth visit to this region, and it is very important for us to engage closely, not only for bilateral relation, but for peace and stability in the region and the vast sea lying between the two.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's now talk about IMEC, which you were talking about earlier. There are talks that talks regarding IMEC, implementation of IMEC project will come up. How important would that be?
Look, it is very important. That's why both the nations and other European nation, USA, agreed upon this in 2023 when we hosted the G20 summit in New Delhi. But due to disturbances, it is rocked like that. But now again the situation is going in a right direction. It will soon stabilize as a talk between Iran and Saudi Arabia, Iran and USA is going on. So the future of America is very bright because we need alternative routes, corridors to connect with European countries, because we see that what is happening in the Red Sea, which is connecting. So we need alternative, because we have set $2 trillion export, 1 trillion merchandise export by 2030, and our $200 billion were passing through Red Sea. If we don't have that near connectivity, we have to go route through Cape of Good Hope, which takes more than 15 days, and it increases the cost of transportation and premium and all these things.
You're right.
This route is the safest one, and in this Saudi Arabia, UAE, Greece, Jordan, Israel is very interested to connect this, and this is our time, and we should also give other nations to cooperate in that. But our leadership is very important in this. But this IMEC is not going to connect only trade, but it is going to connect digital connectivity, green hydrogen,
You're right.
and a line of all these creating jobs and development around the connectivity. So it is going to revolutionize the region if this connectivity takes at a higher level, and I think that both the nations are committed to implement this IMEC despite so much hurdles and problems in the region.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mr. Zakir Hussain, for coming to this broadcast today. Thank you so much. We leave it there. During his 2-day visit to Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also visit a dates factory employing Indian workers there. The country is home to roughly 2.7 million Indians. DDN's Amritpal Singh visited the factory in Jeddah and spoke to the workers.
With a 2.7 million strong Indian diaspora living and working here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has the second highest diaspora anywhere in the world. I'm here right now in Jeddah outside a factory which Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting on Wednesday when he comes calling on Saudi Arabia on Tuesday and Wednesday for a 2-day visit. The Prime Minister shall be coming here and interacting with the workers in this factory. This is the floor of the processing plant or the factory of dates, which this third generation of Indians whose grandfather migrated here started with trading but later went into farming and production and now employs thousands of workers, not just from India but also from the subcontinent and also from Saudi Arabia, working in various capacities. A general perception is that Saudi society is very restrictive. Women do not have the kind of liberties that are seen in other parts of the world. But what we see here belies that. You see these young girls who are Saudi nationals working in this plant owned by Indian entrepreneurs. In fact, I have with me Lama Hafza, who's herself a Saudi national. She's the marketing manager here. Are the gender roles changing in Saudi Arabia when you started or when you were growing up?
Actually, by government, I'm just going to explain it in a nutshell. Working as a female gives you more points in the government itself. So all the companies are now directing towards like having more females.
I have with me Salman Vasaiwala. He is an entrepreneur here. You or your family generate employment and actually contribute to the economy of Saudi Arabia, don't you?
Correct, definitely. Yeah. Now, a lot has changed in the past 50 years. We've gone from trading into manufacturing, farming, distribution, and also with the new Vision 2030 coming up, Saudi Arabia has improved and is supporting us a lot.
The Prime Minister is coming here, visiting your factory, interacting with the workers. What sort of confidence does it inspire in the Indian diaspora working here?
No, actually, they're very excited. All the workers, they're honored. You know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
हमारा देश का पीएम आएगा सर, बहुत खुशी की बात है सर. हमारा कंपनी में देख के जानकारी लेंगे सर, अच्छा लगेगा. बहुत खुशी की बात है सर. हमारा देश का पीएम है, गौरव है सर.
This sentiment that when the Prime Minister of the country comes and interacts with general factory workers, farm workers, ordinary people living outside their country, it inspires. With cameraman Saurabh Bakshi, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
Yoga is fast gaining popularity in Saudi Arabia and is now officially recognized as a sporting activity. Noof Marwaye, a Saudi yoga expert who has been instrumental in promoting yoga in the region, told DD India that yoga has not only grown in popularity in the Arab world but has become a cultural bridge between the two countries. Amritpal Singh reports.
As yoga gets popularized around the world, especially after the UN marked the International Day of Yoga and the efforts of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to popularize this Indian form, it has gained traction here in Saudi Arabia. I'm with Noof Marwaye. She's a certified yoga instructor. She's a Saudi national. And very interestingly, she's also a Padma Shri awardee. She shall be meeting the Prime Minister on the 23rd when the Prime Minister is here in Jeddah. Thank you for speaking to us, Noof. Give us a sense of how popular is, what is the kind of popularity that yoga sees in Saudi Arabia?
Yoga is popular in Saudi Arabia since 20 years. Actually, the popularity is growing more and more. And the Ministry of Sports, of course, established the Saudi Yoga Committee in 2021 that to popularize and promote yoga in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And now this movement also went out and reached to other countries as well. So other countries started giving yoga institutional support by also creating
Other countries, as in other countries of West Asia or Middle East?
Arab countries, Arab Asian and African Arab countries. I'm talking about UAE, Bahrain, Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Palestine, all these countries established.
When we talk about countries, do you think it helps strengthen cultural relations between the Arab world and India?
Of course, because yoga is an Indian heritage and it's also registered in the UNESCO as intangible heritage since 2015. And that actually creates a bridge of cultural exchange between India and the Arab countries as well.
So clearly yoga has emerged as a unifier, in a sense, a cultural unifier, something which connects the Arab people with the Indian people. Though the Prime Minister shall be holding official talks and covering various aspects of the bilateral relation, ranging from security to defense to trade ties, but it's the cultural aspect which connects the people of both countries. With cameraman Saurabh Bakshi, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
And still to come on DD India Newshour. US sets tariffs off up to 3,521% on Southeast Asia solar panels. In Australia, Prime Minister Albanese's party holds slim lead as voting begins. And Iran's foreign minister to visit China ahead of a third round of nuclear talks between Tehran and Washington. You're watching DD India News. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. And Russian President Vladimir Putin proposed bilateral talks with Ukraine for the first time since the early days of the conflict. And his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky said Kyiv was eager to discuss a halt to attacks on civilian targets. Russia and Ukraine have said they are open to further ceasefires after a 30-hour Easter truce declared by Moscow at the weekend. Each side accused the other of violating it. Putin said fighting had resumed after the Easter ceasefire, which he announced unilaterally on Saturday, and Moscow was open to any peace initiatives and expected the same from Kyiv.
Kyiv regime is trying to seize the initiative and talk about expanding the time frame and the targets. But we must think about it carefully, assess everything, and look at the results. If you paid attention, I said from the very beginning, when I met with the Chief of the General Staff, that we would see what the experience of the Easter truce would be like. Overall, still, there has been a reduction in activity. We welcome that and we are ready to look at future.
While Zelensky did not respond directly to Putin's proposal, he emphasized that Ukraine was ready for any conversation about a ceasefire that would stop strikes on civilians. Zelensky said Ukraine will take part in talks with the US and European countries on Wednesday in London.
Today was almost entirely dedicated to working with partners in various formats. We are preparing meetings for Wednesday with partners from Europe, the UK, France, Germany, and from the United States. These meetings can bring us closer to a ceasefire and a real lasting peace.
Russian forces on Tuesday announced that they have retaken a monastery in the Kursk region where Ukrainian troops had been holed up. The Russian military said that Ukraine had deployed troops, artillery and drone launchers at the St. Nicholas Belogorsky monastery, which it said Russia had retaken after 10 days of fierce fighting. In last year, August, Moscow responded by sending heavy reinforcements, including soldiers from its ally, North Korea. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian Air Force on Tuesday said that Russia launched 54 drones in an overnight attack and it shot down 38 drones. Another 16 drones did not reach their targets, likely due to electronic warfare countermeasures. The funeral of Pope Francis will take place on Saturday at the square in front of St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican announced on Tuesday. The coffin of Pope Francis will then be taken inside the church and from there will be taken to the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome for burial. Pope Francis will become the first pope in more than 100 years to be laid to rest outside the Vatican.
Una vita nuova in Cristo nello Spirito.
Cardinals gathered at the Vatican to discuss about Pope Francis's funeral, which leaders from around the world will attend ahead of a conclave next month to elect a new head of the Roman Catholic Church. World leaders including US President Donald Trump, his wife Melania, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, French President Emmanuel Macron will attend the funeral of Pope Francis. Following the death of Pope Francis on Monday, a 3-day state mourning is being observed throughout India. 2 days state mourning begins today, while a day's state mourning will be observed on the day of the funeral. During the period of the state mourning, the national flag is being flown at half-mast throughout India on all buildings, where the national flag is flown regularly and there will be no official entertainment. Shifting focus, the United States on Monday announced its intention to impose tariffs of up to 3,521% on solar panels from Southeast Asia. This move is aimed at countering alleged Chinese subsidies and dumping in the sector. The tariffs on companies from Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia and Vietnam will still need to be ratified at a meeting of International Trade Commission in June. The decision unveiled Monday comes after anti-dumping and countervailing duty investigations filed around a year ago by several US and other solar manufacturers. Those companies took aim at unfair practices that were said to have weighed on US domestic solar market, particularly raising concern over Chinese headquartered companies operating out of Southeast Asian countries. Harvard has sued US President Donald Trump's administration to halt the government's pause of more than $2 billion in funding in a sharp escalation of the fight between the university and the Republican. Trump has sought to bring several prestigious universities to heel over claims they tolerated campus anti-Semitism, threatening their budgets, tax exempt status and the enrollment of foreign students. But Harvard has refused to bow. Among the United States government agencies mentioned in Harvard's lawsuit were the Education Department, the Health Department, the Justice Department, the Energy Department and the General Service Administration. The lawsuit calls for the freezing of funds and conditions imposed on federal grants to be declared unlawful, as well as for the Trump administration to pay Harvard's costs. The administration claims protests against Israel's conflict in Gaza that swept across US college campuses last year were rife with anti-Semitism. The Canadian federal election campaign is becoming a neck-and-neck contest as it enters its final week. According to opinion polls, Canada is seeing a close contest between the ruling Liberal Party led by Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and the opposition Conservatives. Federal election will be held on April 28 in Canada. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who was in power for more than 9 years, was facing a massive anti-incumbency and backlash from the opposition and Canadian citizens. Early voting began in Australia on Tuesday. Polling stations opened to voters who will be unable to vote on May 3rd general election. According to data from the country's election commission, around half the votes are expected to be cast before the election date. following the death of Pope Francis. Both Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and opposition leader Peter Dutton cancelled campaign events planned for Tuesday. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi will visit China on Tuesday. Meanwhile, China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Go Jiakun said it expects in-depth exchanges on China-Iran bilateral relations and international and regional hotspot issues of mutual concern. The visit comes ahead of third round of nuclear talks between Tehran and Washington due on Saturday in Oman. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Hospitals in Turkey are now utilizing advanced robotic devices for rehabilitation treatment, achieving 20% greater effectiveness compared to traditional methods. This innovative therapy assists patients with walking difficulties and limited limb movement, enabling them to regain mobility and joint function more rapidly. In southern Morocco, a group of about 50 volunteers armed with gloves and rubbish bags spent 5 hours collecting an estimated 400 to 600 kilos of trash, including bottles and plastic bags. According to one of the volunteers, there are all kinds of waste to be found from the sandy outskirts of village bordering the Sahara Desert. And still to come on DD India News Hour. US Vice President J.D. Vance in India. We will tell you about his engagements. And Delhi is all set to roll out Devi. Stay with us to know more about it.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. And the US Vice President J.D. Vance began his day 2 visiting Jaipur with his wife Usha Vance and 3 children. He will be in Jaipur till 24th of April, and during this time he will visit many historical sites including Amer Fort and Jaipur City Palace. On his arrival at the Amer Palace, he was accorded a traditional Rajasthani welcome with elephants. The female elephants named Pushpa and Chanda led the reception. Foolproof security arrangements are in place for the visit of the US Vice President. Vance will address a business summit organized at the Rajasthan International Center on April 22nd, where he will share his views on India-US trade relations. On April 23, J.D. Vance and family will go to Agra and visit the Taj Mahal. After this, he will return to Jaipur and visit the City Palace. On April 24, he will leave for Washington, D.C. from Jaipur. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is visiting US to participate in multilateral dialogues on various fora to showcase India's economic dynamism. On the second day of her visit, the minister met general partner of Andreessen Horowitz, Annie Midha, and CEO of VMware, Raghuram, in San Francisco. The finance minister discussed the remarkable transformation in technology space driven by visionary leadership of the Prime Minister. Referring to Digital India program, she suggested to both 16Z and VMware to explore collaboration across sectors within the domain of AI, including education, healthcare and AI centers of excellence. Sitharaman also met CEO of Google Cloud, Thomas Kurian, and his team too. The CEO acknowledged and appreciated India's AI mission and the trajectory India is taking under the leadership of Prime Minister, and called for connecting India to the world via land and sea cables. Thomas Kurian said that Google Cloud aims to operate entirely on carbon-free energy or CFE 24/7 at its data centers and offices worldwide by 2030 and spoke about upcoming investment strategy that the group is working on for India. The finance minister also met Data Robot CEO Debanjan Saha, underlining the steps taken by India over the years to boost digital infrastructure, including budgeting rupees 10,300 crore for India AI mission, creating AI language technologies through Bharat Gen and Sarvam 1, among others. While Debanjan Saha expressed interest in participating in the AI Center of Excellence, for which the Union Budget 2025-26 recently allocated 500 crore. Sitaraman also met Jonathan Siddharth, the founder and CEO of Turing in San Francisco. The CEO expressed his desire to see India at the forefront of AI revolution and spoke about working in the domain of AI with India and through Indian contributors to create a sovereign model that can serve as a template for the world. Sitaraman encouraged Jonathan to explore opportunities for collaboration and fruitful engagement. Later at California Stanford University, Finance Minister Sitaraman visited the Hoover Institution, where she delivered the keynote address on laying the foundations for a developed India by 2047. Addressing the gathering, Sitaraman stressed that India's journey to become a Vikasit Bharat or developed India by 2047 is not merely an aspiration, but a shared national mission powered by a vision for inclusive, sustainable and innovation-led growth. For the same, she spelled out the vision of the Government of India for over the next 2 decades.
Domestically, over the next 2 decades, sustaining India's growth momentum calls for a fresh approach grounded in bold reforms, stronger domestic capacities, renewed institutional partnership, and adaptive strategies suited for the evolving global landscape. The last 2 union budgets have laid the groundwork for this transformation with a clear multi-sectoral policy agenda.
India and Indonesia are strengthening their defense cooperation. At a defense showcase held by Indonesia's Ministry of Defense and the National Research and Innovation Agency, India presented a range of capabilities highlighting growing opportunities for defense collaboration.
India and Indonesia are charting a new course in defense cooperation to prioritize joint development, shared expertise, and long-term strategic alignment. Earlier, India participated in a defense showcase hosted by Indonesia's Ministry of Defense in collaboration with the country's National Research and Innovation Agency. This high-level event follows India's own landmark defense industry exhibition last year, where more than 40 Indian companies presented their capabilities. A booth set up by the embassy displayed the range of defense equipment and technology India can offer to Indonesia.
At the moment, we are looking at, for instance, BrahMos. We are also looking at sharing our Scorpion experience. We are looking at our startups, the IDEX ecosystem, which has produced remarkable results in India. We are looking at simulators. We are looking at autonomous systems. We are looking at drone technology, anti-drone technology. These are the areas where I think Indian companies have progressed a lot, and they can share their experiences with Indonesia.
India has also offered to support Indonesia in building Scorpion-class submarines, backed by its own experience constructing 6 of them, with 3 more currently underway using air-independent propulsion systems.
And so far, Indonesian shipyard has not yet constructed a submarine. So we want to come here and offer whatever learning and whatever knowledge that we acquired. Because while there was transfer of technology was embedded in the contract with Naval Group for India too, but even to absorb the transfer of technology, there is a learning curve.
In turn, India has expressed interest in Indonesia's shipbuilding technology, such as its expertise in marine thrusters. Indonesia and India are developing this partnership as both countries navigate an increasingly complex regional security landscape. The upcoming Indo Defense exhibition in June is expected to further solidify these ties, with Indian companies poised to demonstrate both legacy capabilities and next-generation systems.
Delhi is all set to roll out the Devi, that is Delhi Electric Vehicle Interconnector project aimed at transforming last-mile connectivity with a sustainable push. More than 350 electric buses will join the city's fleet, with 230 of them from PMI Electromobility equipped with state-of-the-art technology. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya caught up with Dr. Anshul Jain, CEO of PMI Electromobility. Take a look.
Delhi is all set to get state-of-the-art electric vehicles, buses actually. Give us a brief idea about how these buses are and how this is changing the whole gamut.
The amount of pollution that we are seeing in Delhi, the AQI has been going so high. So I think these buses will contribute quite highly in reducing that and cutting that down. Each ride saves you quite a lot of CO2 emission in this case. Now, besides the regular thing of saying, yes, these are electric and are smoke-free, there are, when we've introduced electric buses in India, besides being electric and pollution-free, these have been sort of an upgradation of all the facilities that we are providing to our consumers. So as you would notice, amazing air conditioning, right? In the heat of Delhi, we believe strongly that everybody should have an access to a good mode of transportation, an air-conditioned mode of transportation. Therefore, the government has taken this amazing idea that these buses need to be air-conditioning. These buses are ultra-low floor. Again, the first time they have been introduced in Delhi, keeping in mind that they are accessible and friendly to all sorts of consumers. Plus, we've given extra seating for women, which are pink seats. As again,
You can see these are the pink seats. So if it's pink, it's for the ladies, and they have been reserved for them. If this bus at one charge,
recharge in 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes.
What is the duration?
It can do 200 kilometers with one charge during the day.
Free 30 minutes charging and 200 kilometers of one-time charging that can. So that's a huge boost for people in Delhi, because we have seen, as you mentioned, AQI level going up, and as you can see, these are what you call state-of-the-art buses with amazing ACs, with the state-of-the-art panel here, which gives the driver all the controls, and at the same time, it's pollution-free. What else can you ask for? With Campus in Monty, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for GD India from Delhi.
And as the World Audio, Visual and Entertainment Summit, or WAVES, draws closer, anticipation is building for this groundbreaking initiative by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. With Bollywood celebrities also eagerly waiting their involvement, the event is poised to take India's media and entertainment industry to unprecedented heights. Let's hear from Bollywood veteran Hema Malini, who shares her thoughts on the event.
I have seen cinema evolve across generations, from tradition to technology. WAVES brings all of it together on one global stage for the world to witness. See you at World Audio Visual Entertainment Summit, WAVES 2025 in Mumbai.
That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.